Hey guys, Max from Baka Burrito here. And today on Breakfast Burrito, we have a special guest, Lewis from the Low IQ podcast. He has about 50 subscribers on his channel, and he kind of slightly inspired me and Devin to start our own anime podcast originally. So it's great to have you on here.
Thank you for having me, man. Really appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Yeah. And so I actually asked Lewis on today because he's a big fan of what we're going to be talking about today, which is Sword Art Online, or SAO as other people would call it, or garbage as like 50% of the anime community calls it.
It's the best anime. Don't question it.
Yeah, I'm saying like, I personally love it. Like it's one of my guilty pleasure animes. Like people make fun of me for it, but it's just so much fun to watch.
That's Oron, bro.
Yeah,
that's a guilty pleasure. Nobody's gonna.
Yeah, like it's also one of those things that really just became popular when it first came out. And honestly, I even though I know like the plot of it's kind of fallen apart a little bit in recent years, I still just keep finding myself watching it, especially with like, virtual reality and everything becoming more realistic. Mm-hmm. It makes me want to dream, that maybe one day we could all just live in the virtual reality world.
Let's please get stuck in a virtual reality.
I don't know how well we would survive together. Maybe if it's Call of Duty or one of the games you played professionally for a little bit.
Don't know if I could survive a Call of Duty game IRL.
Well, I think like an RPG, if you were able to transition to that, I think your skill set might apply.
Yeah.
You've gone Gale Online more. Maybe
that's the one.
If we're in a fantasy, I'm sorry, we're dying like day 3. We'd be the dumbasses being like, oh, let's just jump off the edge of this cliff and see what happens.
let me see what respawning is like.
Yeah. Oh wait, there is no respawning as we're falling.
Why didn't you tell me this?
But yeah, let's get into it. I guess like actually talking about why we have you here today on SAO, and like the first thing is why do you think SAO became like such a big hit? Like I personally think it was just the right timing, like for when it came out.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, what was it, like 2013, 2014, there wasn't really any big hype behind what anime was going to come in at a time, because the big 3 at the time was dying, like you said before we started this. I don't know. There wasn't like that style, I guess, of anime at the time either.
I know
No Game, No Life came afterwards, I think, right?
Yeah, it came like literally the season after, and everybody was making it, hyping that one up also. But I remember Bleach had just ended literally that year. Like One Piece doesn't die, so we're not even going to talk about that. And then Naruto was like on its last season or last actual arc. The manga had finished, and we knew it was coming to an end officially in the anime. Mm-hmm. And I guess at the time we were probably looking for that next big show. Yeah. And I remember personally like just seeing SAO, like come on the screen like this virtual reality survival game. Yeah. And I was like, oh, word, this looks really cool. Like, this looks awesome.
Yeah, the thing that got me hooked onto it was the fact that, aside obviously from getting trapped and dying in real life, whatever, it's not too far-fetched. You get what I mean? Like, we're not definitely too far from that,
Yeah, because I remember, like, in 2012, like, the Oculus had just come out.
Yep.
And it, to me, like, what I think made it stick for a lot of people back then was the fact that, like, you have other shows, obviously, like, Bleach was a masterpiece in its first few seasons especially, like, but it was also in a realm of where we could never attain that and, like, grab hold. But with SAO, I think that what really grabbed people's attention was the fact that, virtual reality is becoming more of a realistic possibility.
Yeah.
And I could see this happening like 20 years from now. Obviously, we're 10 years. We're nowhere near that yet. But
I mean, I was going to say, at the time, it would have been like 10 years. Dude. 2 years from now, who knows? Technology is catching up fast.
I remember being really excited for that. And I think that fact that reality was so closely linked to it really just made it super exciting for everybody.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people's guilty pleasures in terms of like in games and gaming and stuff like that is, especially for like the anime community, I feel is very much like MMO style of games, like World of Warcraft, like a Diablo type of game, so it really connected with that audience too, in order for them to get to watch it and stuff. So
definitely, and I think what also was great about that show, well, for the first 12 episodes, we won't talk about the second half of season 1, because, you know, that happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, first season, like 12 episodes were really like had a really great premise. I feel like in a really interesting world because we knew there were 100 floors in this world, and we understood the basic mechanics. If you're a gamer, you probably like dabbled a little bit in anime at least, and probably that SAO was one of those shows you did watch.
Yeah.
And you understood the basic mechanics of how gaming works, raid groups, parties, guilds, and it was just a really cool premise because part of the world's already fleshed out in people's minds at that point.
Yeah, it wasn't too like there was no new terminology in the anime for you to try to understand it. It was just kind of all laid out there for you. They didn't have to like sit down and explain. Okay, this is what a guild is. This is what a HP bar is. You know what I mean? So.
And I guess now I could ask you, like, leading to the next question. Like, I know what attracted me into SAO, but what, when you first saw it, like, made you be like, oh yeah, this is the show I want to watch?
Oh man. Honestly, like that beginning scene for me, like when he was just waiting in his room to like launch the game, because I thought that was like such a real concept for me, like waiting for a game to drop for everybody, for you to be able to like, okay, I want to be the first one to play, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
like
being able to get
the
there,
GameStop, right? Like,
yeah,
drop.
Exactly. It made it seem so like, how can I put it, like, yeah, the game itself was like unrealistic at the time. It was unrealistic, but like the outside world part of it was like, yeah, like you wait for a game to drop, like you're watching like updates on that and everything, and then you want to have everything set up. Like what's his name, Klein? He was like, oh yeah, at like 6:30, I have a pizza coming, man. Like, and now be ready to play all night. Like, who hasn't done that in the gaming world? Like when a game first drops. So.
Legend says that pizza's still waiting for him.
Pizza's still there, man.
Yeah, but I feel like honestly, everybody was saying, "Oh, I'm definitely a Kirito." I was like, when I first watched, I'm a Klein. 100%, I'm a Klein. I am not badass. I have not that like I can't like carry a team. I was just like, you know what? Hello, little guy.
Yeah, it's my little.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody more relates to Klein because most people are not that main character going into the game.
Yeah, you're not ready to set up an IV like bag and then just lay there for 12 hours on end just playing it. Like at some point you're just gonna need some food, some pizza that's still waiting.
Yeah, I think like one other thing that really did attract me to the show, I don't know if this is the same for you, but for me it was the fact that it was like you die in the game, you die in real life, which is a concept we hadn't really seen except for Dot Hack. Like before that, and Dot Hack, very good anime also, but also very long and drawn out.
Dude,
like
stupid
long, but like I personally like I did like Dot Hack, but it was just too long for me. Like I did like how that this anime kind of condensed that a little more.
Yeah.
And it was like this die in the game, you die in real life concept that would later on become oversaturated in the anime community. But at that time, I was like, oh, this sounds really cool. Like, this sounds exciting.
For me, too. Like, when I first started watching it, it reminded me of this movie. I don't know if you heard of it. It was called Game Over? No.
Yeah, Game Over, yeah.
It was with, what's his name? Frankie Muniz, I think it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a scary movie that, like, if you die in the game, you go and live your life, but like in real life you will die how you died in the game.
Yeah.
So it reminded me a lot of that, and like I watched that when I was a kid, so I was like, damn, dude, like this is so cool, and like a less morbid way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because to be fair, that was very morbid. Like if you got chainsawed in half in the game, somebody was gonna try to come find you and chainsaw it in half you in real life.
Real dark movie, but
no, man, like, and especially what drew me into it, and this might be also a little morbid, I guess, was the fact that like people legitimately went through like depression and stuff like that in the game, and that's super fucking real too. Like people go through that shit. Like if guy's just gonna climb on top of me, I guess.
Yeah, but going on like that point of depression, I wish they actually did touch on like other people besides Kirito and friends or in the season, because I think one of the drawbacks of SAO, personally to me, is the fact that they only focused 12 episodes on the Ironclad arc.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Ironclad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they only focused 12 episodes on it when they had 100 floors. They could have
That
easily
was
had 150 episodes if they wanted to.
yeah, that's so two of my biggest like problems with as much as I love like SAO, right? Two of my biggest problems with it is um one, that Aincrad arc was way too short. Like you said, it could have easily an episode of Floor is not far fetched,
Yeah, but
right?
like you couldn't even do an episode of floor because you wouldn't be able to flesh it out. You'd have to do 2 to 3 probably per
That
floor.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like fucking Dragon Ball style.
Yeah, like
Just,
except maybe don't scream for like 90 minutes and
yeah,
fill up camera time.
yeah, right. Like I want to see like more of that, like more of the floors. Like how did you get to the 50th floor and whatever. Um, Not just like little snippets. Oh yeah, we fought this guy like back when. I'm like, you spent what was it, 2 years that they spent in the game?
Yeah, there was plenty that he could do. Even if like you
So much.
finish the game at like whatever it was 475 or 80,
Mm-hmm.
like there's still so many episodes you could have done. Like they could have fleshed out more guilds, like made the world seem so much larger
They
that
could have
they
built
did.
up that to that moment better. I feel like
Like
they could have built up to fighting the Akihiko Kaiba. They
yeah,
could have like built up to him better.
because like they did add a little bit of mystery of like he's not watching over, like he's definitely part of the game, which
Hmm.
they brought like up in episode 6, and I
Yeah,
thought that was a really cool idea.
yeah,
But the issue was is like when we found out who he was,
yeah.
I was just like, and I care why. Like they
Hmm.
didn't. If they had spent 20 episodes, or not even 20 episodes, but like enough episodes for me to feel some emotional attachment, being like, this is such a cool dude. Like, yo, they're
Yeah.
Kirito and him best buddies or whatever. It would have felt like a bigger payoff, I feel like.
Yeah, or like spent a couple of episodes on the backstory of the guy and then go back and be like, okay, this is like why he did this type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when we had the reveal, like show why he did
Mhm.
this, like we
Yeah.
still don't know why he did it.
I'm
it
still watching like
yeah,
the last
same.
one. I'm like, why?
We're in
Like
season 5. Like he shows up once in a while. I'm like, okay, yo, now thank you for helping me, but why'd you do that whole thing back in the first
yeah.
arc?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, because I wanted technology and humanity to become closer. Huh?
It's
What?
like that doesn't make sense to me.
That's one of its Sword Art Online's weakest like
Yeah.
parts of the entire series.
Hmm.
And I feel like after they passed, the first arc and everything, and we move on to the other arcs.
Okay, so
it,
no, wait,
so,
back
no,
up.
I'm talking about the second half
Yeah,
of season 1
yeah.
specifically, because Gun Gale I actually did enjoy,
I was gonna
but
say that Gun Gale was fire.
the second half, though, like the fact that there were 2,000 people still trapped in the game, I thought, okay, they could recover here. Like this could be a very interesting mystery element, change it up.
Hmm.
But they went kind of like the basic path with like pretty much corporate greed,
Hmm.
essentially. And I was just like, this is so not
Yeah.
the payoff I wasn't. Like if they were still trapped in the game and Kirito has gotta be like, all right, we gotta log back in and like finish those last 20 floors or something. I'd be okay with that. It wouldn't be the best way of doing it,
It
but
wouldn't, yeah.
I would have been okay with that though, because at least we get to go back into that world.
That entire AFO arc was just so unnecessary, I feel like. They could have
Yeah,
done something completely different with it and then gone into Gun Gale.
yeah, and like they could have just gone straight into Gun Gale, and I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
Like, but
have Asuna be trapped in Gun Gale. Like that would have been okay.
Gun Gale is way cooler.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
honestly, especially like when Gun Gale also came out, I think like why it got another spike in popularity again is because Call of Duty, like
Was popping, yeah.
it would. I think we were at peak Call of Duty back then with like Black Ops out and
Hmm.
everything, where everybody was playing it. Like you had either the zombies or like multiplayer was like at its ultimate toxicity at the time, and
Yeah,
everybody was
or like
playing it.
Destiny 2,
Oh
Destiny 1 or
yeah,
Destiny 2 at the time, yeah.
well, Destiny was like at its peak also, so
Hmm.
Gun Gale was like very closely related to the popular games out at that time,
Hmm.
which is what made it explode.
Yeah.
But the only issue I will say about Gun Gale, I don't know if this is the same for you, is that for me, I couldn't get as invested into Gun Gale as I could in the first season because if they die, it's like, okay, like just respawn.
Yeah, I liked it and the general idea of it. Like I will say it was better. Anything is better than the AFO.
Well,
But
once you hit the all-time low, it's like,
yeah, there wasn't that much big of a drawback like if you died and
except for the death Was it Death Gun or was his
Yeah,
name?
Death Gun. Yeah, yeah. But
Which
even
I
but
thought was
even then,
cool.
like you would have to find you and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. At first, I thought like when he first appeared on the scene
Hmm.
and like he actually shot somebody and killed somebody in real life, I was like, oh, this is interesting then. Because like
Hmm.
if he actually has a way like the dude will pretty much fry somebody's brain the same way, like as like what happened with the first arc, I would have been interesting as hell. Like you would have like a real sense of dread and threat like during the tournament arc, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like like this amount of people are gonna die. Like
Yeah,
secured.
like everybody's like, nah, we can't deal with him. We can't fight him, or else we're actually gonna die.
Yeah.
Like that would have been cool. Although now let me ask you, since we're here, I know Alicization is having like another part to it. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure, right? Coming up.
Yeah.
But after Alicization, do they even have anywhere further they can take this? Because I feel like they're losing like so much steam.
Yeah, I mean, so it kind of, not gonna lie, it kind of lost me with the Soul Translator thing a little bit. I was like, all right, you guys are you guys are reaching way too hard for this. But I did like the aspect, like it was like a second life, kind of like an alter life type of thing.
Yeah, I did like the first season, especially where Kirito has to work his way up because I'm a sucker for
Hmm.
like the underdog story, having to like,
Yeah,
I'm always a sucker for that. And like
yeah.
the first half of it was really cool to me.
Hmm.
Second half in SAO fashion, you kind of lose me in the second half.
Yeah, yeah, as always. But I don't know where they could take, because even the Ogma arc, like in the movie, that was sick, because that was
Oh
the
yeah,
time that Pokemon Go was coming out.
yeah. I feel like they were timing some of these things for when certain
Yeah,
gaming things come
so
out.
what? Okay, so now what's coming out next?
Yeah, which is where I don't know where this is going. We still have the whole mystery of why like the death game was a thing in the first season and where
Yeah.
like there's now like a super genius Kirito, in the internet
Hmm.
along with what's his name again? Guy who murdered everybody first season.
Oh, Kaiba?
Kaiba. There's now a super genius Kirito with like 100 years of experience
Hmm.
and a Kaiba like flying around the internet, which first of all, that sounds bad.
Terrifying. Yeah,
Like
terrifying.
that sounds like an awful idea.
Yeah.
But like the only way I can see them taking it is like coming back full circle with like people getting trapped in the games again. Like perhaps like they both Kirito and Kaiba, like virtual Kirito, I guess,
Hmm.
like decide to trap everybody that's playing virtual reality in the game again and being like, this is your final chance, like your final chance to win it all.
Oh, that'd be fire if they have to finish the 25 floors.
Was not even 25 floors. Like everybody be trapped in their a bunch of different worlds. Like my idea would be there'd be like a bunch of different gaming
Oh.
worlds, but each have like a final boss you'd have to beat in those worlds to get everybody to
Oh.
get out.
Okay, gotcha. Like, for example, like if GGO and SAO were like its own things, like you would have to win the tournament in GGO and then get to the 100th floor in SAO type of thing.
Yeah, like
Oh,
items and stuff can be transferred over to a limited capacity.
yeah.
I think would be really cool. I don't know if like the writers or the
Yeah.
directors have the ability to make any sense of that,
Yeah.
but
No,
I'd be all for it.
I was thinking maybe they could just bring it back full circle and be like, "Oh, you beat Kaiba on the 75th floor. Okay, finish the final 25 in the next arc and call it
Well,
a
they
day."
already kind of did though. Remember? Because like they did like a after Gun Gale, they're like we must go back and beat the game, and I'm like,
Yeah, but there wasn't any like,
we didn't get to see it. I know, but technically Kirito has already completed the game.
yo, do it again.
Yeah. And I guess
Yeah.
that leads into the next thing I'd like to talk about overall is what SAO did for the anime community itself, which is a I know
That's a loaded question, dude.
that's a very loaded question, I know, and we're gonna like only spend like 5 to 10 minutes on it because there's so much we could go into on it. But the one thing I'd like to focus on is the fact that I think it brought a lot of like what Attack on Titan did, SAO kind of did before that, but on a much smaller scale, but brought people who had never watched anime before into the anime community and made it a little more socially acceptable on the greater spectrum in the US. Because I remember, so Max 2012 Max was an awkward high schooler who didn't have many friends,
Yeah.
but like I heard for the first time in school at that time, like people saying like, yeah, no, I watched this like show like called Sword Art Online. My ears would perk up, and be like, Normal person talking about anime.
You're like, what? I'm sorry. You want to repeat that?
Yeah, as like Gigaki. I don't know if you follow Gigaki on YouTube at all, but he says like
No.
he's a anime tuber, but like he says this one term, a fellow degenerate. What's up? Hey, what's your favorite waifu? Like,
Nani?
essentially.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing that, and that was the realization to me that more people are starting to get into it. Like,
Yeah. It for sure broke a lot of barriers in terms of like, oh, who's allowed to watch anime and stuff like that, because it wasn't
yeah,
one of those typical animes that it was like, oh, like fighting and against demons and against, like, it wasn't that typical anime in that sense, and it wasn't also like a lot of them like over sexualized in that sense too, that
in
it
the
was like,
first two seasons, that
and in the first season,
first 3/4 of the first season.
one of those, like, it wasn't uncool to watch it, but it was like, if you did watch it, you're like, dude, this is sick.
Yeah, people were like not gonna say like, oh, what a nerd.
Yeah, yeah,
They still call you a nerd, don't get me wrong, but like you'd be less of a nerd than you would have
yeah,
been before if you said, "Oh yeah, I love watching like Shirama Kenshi or Bleach or
yeah. It
really
wasn't.
anything."
They didn't. They didn't start being like, for example, like back in the day, if you would have been like, oh yeah, I watched Naruto, they'd be like, oh, he probably runs like with his hands back or something. Like with
Yeah,
this, it wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, that's cool, I guess.
yeah.
Like, whatever.
To put an idea of like Attack on Titan broke that barrier between
For
them.
sure, for sure.
Sword Art Online put the chips into the wall that would eventually lead to Attack on Titan breaking that wall. I know, pun intended, by the way, with breaking walls and Attack on Titan.
Was the what's it called? Sword Art Online was the oh my god, what's the
Definitely did open up some barriers to entry. And then in the anime community itself, I feel like it opened up a whole new genre of anime.
yeah, man. With Sword Art Online, it explored options that, like, I feel producers and writers didn't think they had.
Yeah, because at the time we had isekai anime. Before that, isekai was a thing, but it didn't have its own genre at the time. Like it
Yeah.
was just kind of like, oh, fantasy world, normal person. We don't know what to call this, but it's fun to watch. But
Yeah.
Sword Art Online kind of, I feel like, brought isekai more to the forefront because we could
Mhm.
see a trend after 2012, where after that we get Log Horizon, which was another great game anime. It's actually, I like it more than SAO personally.
Yeah.
We also had, what was it? I'm trying to remember the
No,
name.
no game, no life.
Yeah, No Game No
You
Life.
had Is It Okay to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
that was like 2015,
Yeah.
2016.
Then I hate this one, but Goblin Slayer, I think is the name of it.
Goblin Slayer was more just regular fantasy.
Yeah, but it had the aspect of like, okay, this is kind of like a game.
Yeah, they did bring more of the game aspect into it. And then there was also another one I remember when Sword Art Online came out that didn't have as much popularity but was just
Mhm.
as good. Don't
Yeah.
remember its name because SAO
Yeah, it just
all
kind of
all
took over.
before
Hmm.
SAO essentially. But then you also have like the other genres like I Am the Villain is Trapped in an Ultima game that came out recently, which it had best girl in my opinion, Bakarina, best girl.
Oh my
Um,
god.
but it led to a lot of like these other shows starting to come out. A lot of these other light novels that are
Hmm.
based off like what SAO was being brought. Oh yeah, and Jobless Reincarnator, which is my favorite
Okay.
isekai anime actually
Yeah.
of all time. But it led to a lot of other these shows getting anime adaptations and creating a whole monstrosity of the genre.
Yeah. Even I feel like even in real world stuff like Ready Player One, like, if there's like
Yeah,
an aspect of like, okay, something bad may happen if you play this game, like, to what people just want to hate on SAO for no reason.
well, there's plenty of reasons to hate on it at the same time
I,
as there's to like it.
I was gonna say, please don't count the second half of the first season. And there is not much that you can hate aside from that.
There are things that are definitely wrong with the series in general. As every
Yeah.
series, there's plenty of things wrong. I personally enjoy. I know Devin hates SAO
Yeah, I
with a
know.
passion.
Yeah.
Like to me, I enjoy it, and apparently, I have trash taste as a result.
Yeah.
But I also don't care because I like it. It's kind of like my McDonald's.
Dude, I love McDonald's.
Exactly. Like, I know it's so bad for me, and I know it's not like contributing anything later on. But,
Yeah.
like I still eat it just the same way as I keep watching SAO when things come out.
Yeah. No, it's the same thing as like one of my friends. I was like, yo, yeah, I love SAO. And he was like, what? And then he like judged me, and I'm like, bro, you watch like high school D&D, like shut up.
That's
Can't judge
called culture, okay?
me. You
It's
can't judge me.
culture. I am being cultured when I
Yeah.
watch High School DxD, okay?
Oh yeah. Oh no.
SAO wishes it had the level of culture.
No. Uh. Uh.
By the way, side note, but I need to know for SAO purposes, who's best girl?
Ooh. Okay. Hold on. Asuna, hands down.
Are you really going with Asuna?
Easy, bro. Wife material.
I
Easy.
don't, I don't know, man. I don't know. I go with Shino.
Yeah. I don't know.
I like her a lot more personally.
She's cool. She's cool, I guess. But
Yo,
nah, man. A
she's got
homegirl
a
Asuna.
cannon, man. Everybody loves a cannon.
Bro, can't go wrong with day one.
But the day one always wins, and it's just like I'm so
It's
sick of
it's not
hearing.
that she always wins though. Like she has like more to her. To be fair, she was also written in the sense that like I guess more caring, and they spent more time building her character than Sinon.
Well, let's think about like the rest of the characters. And let's. This is actually one of the weaknesses I think of SAO overall. Is that
Hmm.
like they add so many like other just female like characters or like other girls that are destined to fail in their pursuit of Kirito.
Yeah,
And I'm all for like a love triangle story or whatever, but when I know that you're introducing these characters just to fail,
yeah,
it bothers me. It really
yeah, a
does.
little bit. Yeah.
Except for
No,
Klein. Klein has a shot still with Kirito, I still believe.
Klein has a shot with everybody.
Yo,
Uh,
Klein is that bro. He's just always there, man. Like
yeah.
I think that leads into the last thing I really want to talk about SAO, and that's the legacy it's left to future anime that haven't come out yet, and the
Mhm.
current ones that have been released recently. Do you think it's left a strong legacy, or is its legacy kind of hurt the overall anime genre in general?
No, I think it's left a great a legacy and for the good and the bad, I guess, because it kind of laid out a plan of how anime should be structured in that sense. Because it got a lot of like whoever likes SAO or like loves SAO, they have a strong community that likes them, and their fan base is like not quiet about it. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, I love this about this, but I hate this about it. So like future like um producers and writers can be like, okay, so this is what people like, this is what people don't like, and then they can just like mesh everything together.
Yeah, I think it's the legacy is in a weird area for me because as a show itself,
Hmm.
I think it does okay overall. Like in terms of pacing and creating, like it could have done some things a lot better. It did
100%.
open the way to a lot of like other anime that people like normal normies would like. As I'm just call them normies because
Attack on Titan.
yeah, it laid the foundation for like its predecessors like Attack on Titan and like other isekai animes like
Yeah,
I got reincarnated as a slime
that was
and
good.
that one's one of my favorites
That was
actually.
good.
Reincarnated as a slime and not Gun Gale Online. That's literally the same show. Max,
Yeah.
come on. But like Log Horizon, these other shows, like to have something to step on, like a prove it, like it became like that proven concept that
Yeah,
this
yeah.
show can work, and like the gaming community is something that will get behind it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's a overall. Would say I do enjoy it.
It's
Like
an overhated anime for no reason.
it has don't get me wrong, there are reasons to hate it,
But it's
but
overhated. That's what it
yeah,
is.
there are some people who won't give it a shot. Cough,
Yeah.
Devin. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. But my thing is like to anybody who might not necessarily enjoy SAO, I say watch the first season and then just stop.
Stop at like the 10th episode.
No, 12, because that's when they
12.
get out of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like stop there.
Stop at the 12 and then just skip to Gun Gale.
Essentially, yeah, because like the next 12 episodes do absolutely nothing.
I you know what's funny? I was rewatching it last week and I did just that. I like stopped as soon as like like in the final scene when he's like walking down the hospital aisle, like he's
Yeah,
like with this thing. I was like I stopped there and then instead of going to like the very next episode, I just went straight to like when everybody's back together and they go to like Gun Gale. I was like,
yeah.
this makes sense.
I think
Like you
that's the
didn't need that.
I think that's actually probably the main problem with season like the second half of season 1. Like you can literally cut it out, and
you'll be better off with it.
Yeah, nothing's changed. Like you could, I've not missed nothing, like anything about the original part.
They like touch on it, but not really.
Yeah, even the anime, I feel like was like, we're gonna just forget about this.
Yeah. They create characters and they just don't even mention like AFO. They're like
they show up once in a while. Like they showed up in Alicization, like they all die. Remember?
Yeah, I guess.
They all showed up and like the army like goes do his battle with the Chinese and American servers. By the way, greatest representation of American gamers I've ever seen in my life.
1,000%, dude.
Like,
that's fucking hilarious.
American gamers, I'm one of them. I do love the American gaming community, but we can be very toxic.
Super fucking toxic.
Yeah, and then it's just like when I saw that when the American gamers rolled up, I was just like, yeah, let's go kill some villagers. I'm like, yep, that's American gamers.
You just gotta test the waters, man.
Yeah, we gotta test out how our characters, kill everything.
Yeah.
Like,
shit.
Psychopath. Like, what is...
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'll do it overall, unless you want us to add some more things about SAO or talk about a few more things.
Yeah, just one thing. Devin, watch it, please. Please watch it. You
hearing that, Devin? Lewis wants you to watch SAO. So I really do appreciate you coming on to the podcast.
Thank you
for having me. To have you here.
Of course.
Guess right here you can give your shout out to your own podcast, like in your 2 channels, and like let people know what you do real quick.
Yeah, so you guys can follow me at the Low IQ Podcast on YouTube. We drop an episode every Tuesday, and on Instagram at Dr. Kohii.
Yeah.
DRKOHII.
Yeah, like if you guys definitely want to watch him, I definitely recommend checking it out. Like, he talks in this nice low voice all the time. But yeah, guys, glad you enjoyed I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and comment down below telling us if our opinions have any merit or is SAO actually trash. I hope this guy over here actually gives us a positive comment for once about it.
I will be lurking on the comments just waiting for somebody to be like, yo, SAO's trash. I'll be like, listen, dude.
Yeah, he's going to be ready to respond to any criticism you may have. But yeah, also give us a subscribe, just let us know what you guys think. And if you want Lewis on more, please like this video. We'll definitely have him on again if we get enough likes.
I'm not pretty enough.
Yeah, you are. You got it. All you got to do is wink at the camera and just smile. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Anyway, thanks for having us, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.